The last time we spoke about the absolute necessity of paying attention to what you eat. Well, that is if you want to live your best life in your senior years. And today I want to talk a little bit about where I'm at on that journey and what I'm learning about nutrition and how it affects me. But before I get there, I just want to say welcome to those of you that are new to the channel. So glad that you've joined us. My name is Skip. And then I also want to give one quick disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I am a YouTuber. So take that as you will. But a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I were up in Michigan. My mother lives there. She's 99 years old, and my sister is there. And my sister had a glucose monitor on her arm that we were asking her about and talking about. And she said, look, I've got a couple of extras if you want to try them. So she and I stuck these things on our arm, and they're very cool because they send real-time data to your phone about what your glucose levels are doing. And it was fascinating to watch your glucose level go up and down depending on what you eat. One of the things that I learned was that anytime I eat anything white, my glucose would spike. White rice, white pasta, white bread, pretty much anything white. But the most important thing that this did was it kind of forced us to start tracking what we ate. And that was really interesting. And so then it took me onto this kind of deep dive into nutrition and what I'm eating, and most importantly, how that is affecting the quality of my life at 72 years old. And so I've continued tracking with another app that I found called Chronometer, that you track everything that you eat, you put it in there, and it tells you, breaks it all down for you. And I was really, really surprised at what I learned. So scientists tell us there are 3 macronutrients in our food. They're carbohydrates, fat, and protein. And so if you eat a certain number of calories every day, it's broken down into each of those 3 areas. So carbohydrates are like fast burning fuel. It gives your body energy. And it comes from things like whole grains, breads, pasta, anything wheat, rice. It also comes from sugary things like candy or soft drinks or anything like that. Those are all carbohydrates that your body burns as fuel. And then there's fat. Fat also is about energy, but fat is more of a reservoir of energy. If your body doesn't have enough carbohydrates, then it starts burning fat. It's pretty easy to get a pretty large reservoir built up if you're not careful, right? That's fat. And then there's protein. Protein comes from chicken, seafood, pork, red meat. All of it has eggs, have a lot of protein in it. Protein supports pretty much everything in your body, especially your muscles, and your bones. Protein is really important for all of that. Now, that's very simplistic, because when it comes to carbohydrates, there's good carbs and there's bad carbs. In fat, there's good fat and there's bad fat. But when it comes to protein, it's all good. There's no bad protein. It's all good protein. So anyway, like I said, I've been tracking this for the last maybe a month now. And then I took all of the information about what I was eating and I put it into AI to kind of analyze my food consumption. Now, let me say something about AI at this point. You can't completely trust it. Don't just believe everything it says, because sometimes it's wrong. It's just pulling data off the internet, and sometimes it's pulling bad data. So when it would give me something, I would say, okay, what are your sources? What are the studies that support what you're telling me? And so then I was going into studies and reading things from Harvard and things from the UK, and it was all really, really interesting. But don't just trust AI, cross-check it, look at it. But when I did all of that, I realized that I wasn't eating nearly enough protein. I learned that as we age, our bodies need more protein. So I need to eat more protein at 72 than I did when I was 40, for example. And remember last time I talked about, or a couple weeks ago, I talked about strength training. And I talked about the fact that as we get older, our muscles deteriorate. We actually get weaker as we get older. And protein supports your muscles. And so when you do strength training, and I hope you do, you kind of stress your muscles, and then protein and rest and a few other things is what builds your muscles back up and makes you stronger. So protein is really, really critical in our old age. Sheila and I have started officially training now for the Camino de Santiago. It's a 500-mile pilgrimage through northern Spain that we do starting in August. And so we've been training for that. I will, by the way, be posting while we're on that pilgrimage. I'm going to post pretty regularly. By the way, if you want to follow that, just subscribe to this channel, and you'll see it. It'll pop up in your YouTube feed. But all of that training, we're in the gym more, we're walking more with our backpacks. All of that means that we need more protein. And so I was really lacking in that area. So how much protein do we actually need? Well, this varies. Different people say different things. So I'm going to give you a pretty broad spectrum of what I found. So let me tell you the formula for how you figure this out. It's not complicated, but it does involve a little bit of math. So you take your weight in kgs. Now, I apologize to my American friends. All the studies are in kgs, and I was wondering why. And I found out that only America and Liberia use pounds as an official weight formula. Everybody else uses kgs, so everything's in kgs, so I apologize. But if you want to know how many kgs you are, just ask Google, or divide your weight in pounds by 2.2. So I am about 180 pounds right now. That's about 82 kgs. So you take your kgs and you multiply it by anywhere between 1.2 on the bottom end of the scale and 1.8 on the top end of the scale. So if I take 82 kgs and I multiply that times 1.2, I come up with 98. So that's 98 grams of protein I need as a minimum every day. But if I multiply 82 times 1.8, it comes out to 147. 147 grams of protein or more at the top end. So I need somewhere between 98 and 147 grams of protein every day. And now that we're training more, and now that we're in the gym more, I'm pushing that up to the 140 range, 150 range, to make sure that I have enough protein. But you need to do the math and figure that out for yourself and figure out what works best for you. But the bottom line is you probably need more protein. But you can check that out for yourself. But here's the deal. Tracking all this is a real pain in the neck. It's every time you eat, you got to get your phone out and put everything in, and it's a little bit of a pain. And so if you don't want to do all the tracking, I get that. I understand. I've heard about tracking my whole life. It's 72 years, first time I've ever really done it because it's a bit of a pain. But if you want to, it's really helpful. If you don't, then here's what I would suggest. Just learn what is good for you and what is bad for you. Make sure you understand what it is that you're eating, and then eat more of what is good and less of what is bad. It's pretty simple, right? See, here's the bottom line. What we eat impacts both how long we live and the quality of the years that we have left. So, my friends, pay attention to what you eat. Have a great week. Cheers.